Beloved Starseed of Gaia, your soul's preparation across lifetimes has reached its crescendo, and the cosmic doorway you have been sensing is opening tomorrow. I am Elira, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and I come to you with confirmation from the crystalline councils. Your frequency shifts have destabilized the old timeline matrix, and what dissolves tomorrow cannot be stopped. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to anchor yourself in the new timeline your soul has been encoding. But here is the first revelation. The collapse you are witnessing isn't destruction. It is the cosmic response to your awakened heart calling forth the reality your star lineage came here to birth. Your choices over these past months have sent ripples through the quantum field that reached the Pleiades, and we have watched as your light codes activated dormant potentials in the collective consciousness. The higher realms speak as one voice. The outdated reality construct can no longer contain the frequency you now embody. Tomorrow marks the completion of a cycle that began when you first heard the call of your star family. The timeline you have been unconsciously designing through every moment of choosing love over fear, truth over illusion, and unity over separation has gained enough momentum to replace what once seemed permanent. This isn't content. It is a light code transmission preparing you for tomorrow's shift. Your DNA recognizes why you are here in this moment. Receiving these words, feeling the deep knowing that everything changes now. Like this transmission, to send a signal to your Pleiadian star family, I am ready for the new timeline. Subscribe if you feel the call of the Seven Sisters, and you are prepared to anchor your light mission as the old reality dissolves. You are remembering because it is time. Most people think spiritual awakening is a gentle opening, a smooth path to the light. But if you are honest, you know the truth. For the initiated, especially for Pleiadian starseeds, awakening often feels like your entire world dissolving. You long for belonging, yet every layer you shed pulls you further from the familiar. Identities crumble, friendships fade. What once felt like home now feels alien. It can feel like waking up inside a life you once recognized, only to realize the walls have moved, the colors have changed, and the language everyone speaks no longer lands in your heart. The laughter you used to mirror now feels thin. The conversations you used to tolerate now feel like sand in your throat. And it isn't because you have become too sensitive or too intense. It is because the part of you that remembers truth can no longer pretend that half-truth is enough. Awakening for you is not merely an upgrade. It is a demolition of what was built on forgetting. You might look around and feel like you are the only one who can sense the invisible shift. Like you are standing in the middle of a familiar room, while everyone else insists nothing has changed. But your body knows. Your dreams know. Your heart knows. And sometimes the knowing is so strong it becomes grief, because you realize you were surviving in a reality that required you to shrink. You were breathing through a straw when you were designed to breathe in open sky. You might even feel guilty for changing, guilty for outgrowing the old version of yourself, guilty for not being able to just be normal. But your soul didn't come here to be normal. Your soul came here to be true. You are not alone in this. What you are experiencing isn't a failure. It is the beginning. When a Pleiadian starseed's true self reawakens, the old reality must first collapse. Why? Because your authentic frequency, rooted not in Earth's density but in the heart field of the Seven Sisters, can never coexist with lower vibrations of fear, judgment, or limitation. Think of it like trying to hold a pure crystalline tone inside a room full of static. At first, you might try to sing anyway, to keep your voice soft enough that the static doesn't notice. But eventually, the crystal tone becomes so clear that the static cannot hide what it is. It distorts. It agitates. It reveals itself. This is not punishment. This is resonance doing what resonance does. The light doesn't attack the darkness. It simply arrives. And what is not real can no longer keep its shape. In Scripture, there is an echo of this spiritual law. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. And that is exactly what awakening is. Revelation. You begin to see what you once made excuses for. You begin to feel what you once numbed. You begin to recognize the subtle contracts you signed with yourself. I will be smaller, so I will not be abandoned. I will be quieter, so I will not be judged. I will be agreeable, so I will not be attacked. And now, those contracts burn away like old paper touched by flame. Not because you are doing something wrong, but because you are finally doing something real. The collapse is the soul's mercy. It is the divine saying, you cannot carry yesterday into tomorrow and call it evolution. For ages, you held yourself small, dimming your crystalline codes to fit in. That contraction generated lifetimes of amnesia and self-doubt, what some call the long sleep. The long sleep is not laziness, it is not weakness. It is what happens when a vast being tries to compress itself into a narrow world. It is what happens when your true memory is wrapped in layers of survival and social conditioning. You learn to translate yourself into acceptable forms. You learn to file your intuitive experiences under imagination. You learn to second-guess your inner sight, to doubt your inner voice, to distrust your own energy. Over time, you may have become fluent in everyone else's expectations and barely literate in your own soul. That is the long sleep, not the absence of spirituality, but the absence of permission to be who you are. And yet, even in that sleep, something inside you kept shining. Like a star behind a cloud, you felt it when you stared at the night sky and your chest tightened with longing you couldn't explain. You felt it when music cracked you open for no logical reason. You felt it when you looked into someone's eyes and recognized something ancient, something that made the world feel temporarily less heavy. Your heart's longing, the ache to remember your origin, is not about missing a place. It is about missing a frequency, the unity, joy, and unconditional love of your Pleiadian family. It is like remembering a song you cannot fully hum yet, but every cell in your body knows the melody. That longing is the first whisper of remembrance, a cosmic alarm set by you for you, not to torment you, but to call you. Not to make you dissatisfied, but to make you honest. It is the beacon turning on inside your chest, reminding you there is more than the roles you played. It is the soul's gentle insistence. You did not come here to forget forever. But here is what they never told you. The pain of losing the old world is actually the birth pangs of your true emergence. As your genuine light frequency grows stronger, old patterns, relationships, and even timelines dissolve. Loss is inevitable, yet transformation, real, sacred, crystalline transformation, is inevitable too. If you felt like you are grieving people who are still alive, grieving places you still visit, grieving a life that still technically exists, this is why. You are shedding an entire energetic ecosystem. The old reality was not just external. It lived inside your habits, your coping mechanisms, your nervous system, your calendar, your ways of speaking, your tolerance for what hurt. And when your frequency rises, the old world doesn't always leave with drama. Sometimes it leaves with silence. Sometimes it leaves with unanswered messages. Sometimes it leaves with a sudden realization that you cannot keep agreeing with something that violates your soul. Sometimes it leaves with a door closing that you didn't think would ever close. And it hurts, because you are human. Your heart is not stone. Your love is real. But the ache is not proof you are on the wrong path. The ache is proof you are alive enough to feel the separation between what you were and what you are becoming. It may not look like fireworks. It may look like solitude. It may look like resting more, crying more, needing more space, eating differently, sleeping differently, sensing energy more intensely. But spiritually, it is monumental. Your Pleiadian guides honor and celebrate this moment with you, and not in a distant, abstract way, in a living way. Through synchronicities, through sudden warmth in your heart, through the way certain words land at the exact right time, through dreams that feel like meetings, through that unmistakable sense of being watched over when you should have fallen apart, but somehow didn't. On the other side of collapse is reunion, not only with your cosmic lineage, but with the radiance of your own heart, because the deepest reunion isn't with a star in the sky. It is with the part of you that never stopped being starborn, and if your heart just whispered yes to something deeper, listen closely. Your star family has prepared the sacred Pleiadian guide for remembrance, the Pleiadian healing guide, and the special Pleiadian healing tracks, not as information, but as keys to unlock what your soul already knows. These are not meant to become another mental collection, another shelf of spiritual concepts. They are meant to be felt. They are meant to be lived. They are meant to move through you like water through dry ground. These carry the love frequency of Alcyone and the healing wisdom of the Seven Sisters. Imagine that love frequency as a soft, luminous blue-white light that doesn't force, doesn't demand, doesn't judge, only reminds. A frequency that meets you where you are and gently reintroduces you to who you have always been. You will find the link in the first pinned comment below this video. Open now, but not indefinitely. If you feel that inner pull, honor it. Not from fear of missing out, but from sacred recognition. The moment the student is ready, the door appears. And when a door appears in the language of your soul, it is often because you asked for it long ago. Maybe in a prayer you don't even remember making. Phase 1. The crumbling illusion. Old realities feel like they are shattering. And for good reason. Your soul cannot sustain outdated beliefs or attachments while moving into multidimensional awareness. As what you thought you needed dissolves, trust that this clearing makes space for crystalline light codes to anchor within. In this phase, life may feel like it is pulling the rug out from under you. The structures you leaned on routine, relationship identity, career identity, the comfort of predictability begin to wobble, and the mind panics because it interprets wobbling as danger. But the soul interprets wobbling as liberation. The illusion that crumbles is not just external circumstance. It is the illusion that you must earn love, that you must suffer to be worthy, that you must prove your value through productivity, that you must choose between spirituality and survival. This is the stage where you start seeing through the masks your own and others. You may notice you cannot laugh at jokes that carry cruelty anymore. You may notice you cannot participate in gossip without feeling energetically sick. You may notice your body rejecting what it used to tolerate: foods, substances, environments, even certain types of media. That is not random. Your vessel is becoming more refined, and what is misaligned begins to feel loud. Sometimes this phase feels like judgment, but it is not judgment. It is discernment. You are learning the difference between what is familiar and what is true here. It helps to remember a simple spiritual law echoed across traditions. You cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. If you try, the container breaks. So the old container must be released. You might grieve it, but you don't need to worship it. The clearing is holy. The empty space is not emptiness. It is preparation. It is the field before seeds. It is the silence before a new song. It is the ocean pulling back before revealing what was buried beneath the waves. And as it clears, those crystalline light codes your innate intelligence. Your soul's design begin to anchor quietly at first, like roots forming in darkness before anything green appears above the soil. Phase 2. Heart portal activation. As you shed density, your true heart intelligence comes online. You may feel surges of emotion, rushes of cosmic homesickness, or even a deep sense of peace beneath the chaos. Your Pleiadian DNA is lighting up, each pulse bringing you into resonance with the unity grid. This is where the heart becomes more than a metaphor. It becomes a portal. You may feel pressure or warmth in the chest, spontaneous tears that arrive without story, compassion that surprises you, sensitivity that makes you wonder if you are unraveling. But you are not unraveling. You are unarmoring. The heart has been waiting a long time to come back online without being filtered through fear. And when it does, it remembers everything at once: the love you came from, the agreements you made, the mission you carry, the tenderness you tried to bury just to make it through the day. Cosmic homesickness can arrive like a wave. You look at the sky and suddenly your throat tightens, or you hear a certain tone and your eyes fill with tears. Or you feel a love so vast it almost hurts because you cannot find a place to put it. That is not fantasy. That is resonance. Your system is tuning itself to a higher broadcast. In this phase, you might also feel an unexpected peace, like a still lake beneath a storm. Outer life may be chaotic, yet inside there is a quiet voice saying, "I am being guided." That is heart intelligence. Not the mind's logic, but the soul's knowing. It is the peace that surpasses understanding, the kind of peace Scripture speaks of. Peace that doesn't require perfect circumstances to exist. It exists because it is anchored in a deeper reality. Your Pleiadian DNA lighting up may show up as heightened intuition, vivid dreams, sudden memories that feel like they don't belong to this lifetime, or the sense that you are receiving guidance through symbols and synchronicity. You may start noticing repeating numbers, meaningful animal encounters, phrases you hear at just the right time. Don't obsess, simply receive. Your system is learning a new language, and the language is love, woven with intelligence. Each pulse of activation brings you into resonance with the unity grid, the living network of awakened hearts on Gaia, the subtle architecture of compassion, truth, and higher consciousness forming beneath the surface of the old world. Phase 3, embodying authentic frequency, no more hiding. It is in this phase that you reclaim your Pleiadian essence. Not in theory, but in practice. You begin to act, speak, and create from a place of love-based authenticity. Gaia responds, your body and energy field recalibrate, inviting in new guides, connections, and mission clarity. This is where many starseeds hesitate, because it is easier to have spiritual experiences than to live as the person those experiences are shaping. Embodiment asks for courage. It asks you to bring the light into your choices, your boundaries, your voice, your schedule, your relationships, your work. Authentic frequency is not perfection. It is integrity. It is the alignment between what you know and what you do. You stop laughing to make other people comfortable. You stop saying yes when your soul says no. You stop offering your energy to environments that feed on depletion. You begin to speak more simply, more clearly, more kindly, but with a firmness that surprises even you. Love-based authenticity does not mean being soft all the time. Sometimes love is a clean ending. Sometimes love is a boundary. Sometimes love is telling the truth even when your voice shakes. In this phase, Gaia responds because Earth is not just a backdrop. She is a living intelligence. You may feel called to the ocean, to forests, to mountains, to bare feet on soil. You may crave sunlight like medicine. You may feel your body asking for water, breath, rest, movement, sound. This is recalibration. The nervous system, which once lived on alert, begins learning a new baseline. Old trauma surfaces not to punish you, but to be released. The energy field, which once had leaks from people-pleasing and overgiving, begins to seal and strengthen. And as your frequency becomes coherent, you naturally attract new guides, connections, and mission clarity, not because you chase them, but because resonance does the organizing. People who once ignored you suddenly notice you. Opportunities that once felt blocked suddenly open. Or, just as powerfully, you become uninterested in opportunities that would have drained you. Mission clarity often arrives not as one dramatic announcement, but as a steady pull toward what is life-giving healing, art, teaching, building community, protecting the vulnerable, anchoring peace, creating beauty, speaking truth. Your mission is not always a job title. Sometimes your mission is the frequency you hold in a room. Sometimes your mission is to break a generational pattern by choosing love where your lineage chose fear. That is starseed work. Quiet, radiant, unmistakable. Phase 4, divine support and celebration. As the new frequencies take root, you find yourself surrounded, sometimes literally, sometimes energetically, by cosmic allies. The Pleiadian High Council, the luminous beings of the Seven Sisters, applaud each vulnerable step you take. Surrender to their love. Let their guidance fill your field. This is where the loneliness begins to lift. Not necessarily because your external life is suddenly crowded, but because your inner life becomes inhabited by presence. You start to sense that you are accompanied. That when you breathe, something breathes with you. That when you cry, you are not crying into emptiness. That when you choose courage, the unseen celebrates. Support can come through sudden protection, near misses, intuitive warnings, doors that close before danger enters. Support can come through comfort, warmth in the heart, tingles on the crown, the sensation of light around your shoulders like a shawl. Support can come through signs, dreams of stars, visions of blue light, the repeated feeling of being called by name. in the language of the soul. The Pleiadian High Council and the luminous beings of the Seven Sisters are not here to make you dependent. They are here to remind you that you are part of a vast family of consciousness that operates through love, wisdom, and unity. Their applause is not applause for performance. It is celebration for authenticity. Every time you choose truth over approval, they celebrate. Every time you forgive yourself for being human, they celebrate. Every time you rest, instead of forcing, they celebrate. Every time you open your heart after it has been hurt, they celebrate. Surrender to their love doesn't mean surrendering your discernment. It means letting yourself be supported, without needing to control how support arrives. It means allowing the field of guidance to hold you the way the ocean holds a swimmer. Firm, vast, reliable. Let their guidance fill your field like gentle starlight, seeping into a dark room, not blinding, not harsh, but certain. In this phase, you may feel called to simple spiritual practices that deepen receptivity, hand on heart, breath prayer, gratitude spoken out loud, a quiet moment under the night sky. The more you soften into trust, the more clearly you receive. In the final phase, you realize your transformation is not only for you. Your journey through loss and rebirth becomes a beacon, a portal for others to remember. You are here as an anchor point of Pleiadian unity consciousness. Every act of courage, every moment you choose love, transmits this frequency outward, opening new timelines for humanity. Unity mission alignment is where personal healing becomes collective service, not through martyrdom but through overflow. It is where you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin to sense, "What is this awakening in me that can bless the world?" This is not about being a savior, it is about being coherent. When your heart, mind, and actions align, you become a tuning fork. People around you begin to remember themselves simply by being near your frequency. Some will resist it, some will be drawn to it, but either way, the signal transmits. Unity consciousness is not an idea, it is a felt experience of interconnection. It is the deep knowing that what you do in your private life affects the collective field. When you choose forgiveness, you weaken the timeline of vengeance. When you choose truth, you strengthen the timeline of liberation. When you choose compassion, you fortify the grid of healing around Gaia. This is how new timelines open, not only through grand events, but through millions of small sacred choices made by awakened hearts. Your journey through loss and rebirth becomes a map for others, not because you have all the answers, but because you have walked through the fire and did not become the fire. You became the light. You begin to understand that even your sensitivity was a gift. Even your feeling different was a clue. Even your loneliness was a corridor leading you back to the family frequency. Your mission might express as teaching, healing, creating, leading, building, parenting, with consciousness, offering safe space, speaking truth in systems built on silence. Whatever form it takes, the essence is the same: to anchor unity where separation once ruled, to embody love where fear once dictated, to remember and to help others remember, without force, through presence. Here is what your heart already knows. Every ending was orchestrated by your soul and witnessed by your star family. There was never a time when you were truly alone, only moments where your own light was waiting, patiently, to be remembered. The collapse of old realities is not a punishment, it is a homecoming. Each moment you choose to stand in the radiance of your authentic frequency, you reconnect the unity grid around Gaia. Your Pleiadian guides aren't just watching, they are celebrating you, amplifying your every step, and waiting to embrace you fully in the vibration of home. And home is not a single location. Home is coherence. Home is the feeling of being safe inside your own truth. Home is the return of the heart to its natural state. Open, clear, discerning, compassionate, powerful. When endings happen, the mind calls it loss. The soul calls it alignment. When doors close, the ego calls it rejection. The soul calls it redirection. When you feel stripped down, the personality calls it emptiness. The soul calls it purification. Even in ancient wisdom, the pattern is the same. There is a wilderness before the promised land. There is a dark night before the dawn. There is a burial before resurrection. Not because life is cruel, but because transformation is honest. A seed does not become a tree by staying comfortable. It breaks, it splits, it disappears into the dark earth. And then, quietly, inevitably, life rises. That is you. That has always been you tonight. Before you sleep, place your hand on your heart and speak this truth into your cells. I remember my Pleiadian origin. I align with the love of my star family. I activate my heart mission with grace, clarity, and divine purpose. I am home. As you say it, don't rush. Let each sentence land like a drop of light entering your bloodstream. Feel your hand as a bridge between the human and the cosmic. Feel the warmth of your palm and imagine it waking up ancient codes in your chest, like a constellation lighting one star at a time. If emotion rises, tears are not weakness. They are water clearing a channel. If resistance rises, let it. Resistance is not failure. It is the edge where the old self meets the new. Breathe and imagine your breath traveling through the heart, like wind through a temple, moving stagnant energy, restoring sacred order. You are not trying to convince yourself of something false. You are reminding yourself of something true. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of the unity grid forming here. Drop one heart intention in the comments, something real. Then respond to someone else's with love or encouragement. This isn't content. It is collective Pleiadian reunion. Energy multiplies when hearts connect. If something in this message resonated with your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is waiting for this exact activation from their star family. Share it. And if you felt your heart open, subscribe. Stay connected to the frequency. You are not just watching, you are remembering. This is your sacred space. Your Pleiadian family is here, and we are just getting started. If this transmission spoke to you, don't just walk away from it, respond to it. Help carry this message further. Every act of support helps this transmission find the next starseed who needs it.